thank you for being here at this live stream. I'm Vita, I'm Bacardi Trade Ambassador in Vietnam, and we're gonna do a tequila masterclass for our Bacardi Masterclass live. So make yourself a coffee if it's morning or before noon time, or a margarita will be even better if you up to it, and maybe some Patronic. But we're going to begin in a few minutes and talk about all about tequila and some Patron as well. Now, if you don't see well the screen, I changed my location for this time. If you can't see well my screen, don't worry about it. You can get all the information that I have on here, all the information, almost all the information that I'm going to talk about in an online education program for Patron called Patron Academia. And if you would like to join it, just please send me a private message and I will make sure that you will be on it. After finish the program, you can get a really cool certificate and up your tequila game by a few levels. Okay, so today, let's pretty much begin. If you're missing this training, if you don't have the time to watch it right now, well, what do you have to do better? You can always log into our YouTube channel, Bacardi Masterclass YouTube channel, and check it out later. And we have all the masterclasses by all the Southeast Asia ambassadors and our really special guests that we are hosting. Let's start. Alright, tequila. Tequila, if I have to define it by one sentence, I would say that tequila is distilled spirit made from blue Weber agave in Mexico. Now this is a very loose definition, or actually pretty accurate, but there is a whole story about how it got to be blue Weber agave distilled spirit only in Mexico. There is a lot more to discover for it. And if any case you have a question, or you wanna know something better, or you even wanna, share a Patron recipe, tequila recipe with me, please comment, and I will make sure to answer your questions. And yeah, so basically, let's begin. Patron or tequila. In order to really understand tequila, we first kind of have to understand the history of it. And it began way before tequila was actually existent. If we look at the history, tequila is pretty new spirit if you compare it to whiskey, if you compare it to gin, if you compare it even to vodka, kind of. But Mexico and agave spirits go way long back. So we are talking about 600 years ago, when Mexico is covered with agave plants, all kind of agave plants. There is over 100 types of different agaves in the world, and Mexico has a bunch of them, and they use it for everything. It's a central ingredient in their life. They use it as a sugar source to sweeten out their food or drinks. They use it as fiber from and make clothes out of it, and furniture out of it. They used to use it even as a medicine to heal wounds and clear other medical problems. It was so important. A few bunch of nice agaves, but it was so important to them that they used to portray it as the goddess of fertility. So it was an important part, an important essence in their life. And like everything that you have available in such a variety and has sugar, automatically people is going to start making out of it alcohol. But Mexico didn't have the ability to distillate, to have a distillation process. So they used to make a sort of fermented spirit or a type of agave wine and drink that agave wine, just like any other wine, but made from agave. And in the 1500s, when the Spanish took over, but we're going to talk about what happened when they left. They left to the Mexican the ability and the knowledge of distillation, of turning that agave wine into a higher proof spirit, in a higher percentage of spirit or ABV, in order to preserve it for longer. And not only preserve it for longer, of course, also to enjoy it in a completely different way than before. And this forensic is getting crazy, right? So everybody in Mexico starting to distill agaves, starting to make agave spirits and drinking agave spirits. This spirit is mostly, called mezcals. So mezcals is available all over Mexico and everybody loves it. But the thing with mezcal, that it has a specific taste to it. It has a kind of funky, smoky flavor to it, very earthy flavor, and this flavor comes because of the way that they cook agave. Basically, you take the agave and cut it down until you have the piña only, the heart of it, where all the sugar is existing. And the cooking method for mezcal usually involved by digging a hole in the ground, cover it with lava stones, with sulfur stones, and let it cook. Let it cook for a day, for a few hours, until it cooks, until it's soft. And then you can squeeze it, add yeast, fermentation, distillation, and so forth and so forth. But the fact that it was cooked in the ground with this raw lava stone, it can give the taste of it to the final product. Now, somewhere around 1890s, a special type of mezcal starting to appear. That type of mezcal was very unique by its flavor. It didn't have those smoky, funky flavors. Actually, it was very soft. It was almost fresh, citrusy. It was very agave forward. It was something that, nobody tasted before. And it became very popular. Then the people started to ask specifically from the mezcal from a specific town that made this not smoky, fresh, green, almost a citrusy type of tequila. And that town is named Tequila. So tequila became popular. People asking that mezcal, tequila, 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 tequila. And very fast, also when things get popular, things get replicated, things get duplicated, things get, not necessarily the real deal, as you say. And the government, because it's so important for them, the tradition of mezcal throughout history, decided to regulate and put some rules in toward tequila specific. So, write down the sentence, remember the sentence. Every tequila is a mezcal, but not all mezcals are tequila. I'm gonna repeat that. Every tequila is a mezcal, but not all mezcals are tequila. That means that in order to make tequila and not mezcal, there will be a specific type of rules. So the first thing that they established was the appellation of origin. Now, appellation of origin means basically that you can make tequila only in a specific places. Only in specific places, just like, for example, you have with champagne, that you can make champagne, sparkling wine, only in champagne, and or cognac, you can make cognac just in Cognac region in France. So the same applies for tequila. The appellation of origin for tequila means that you can make tequila only in Mexico, but not only in Mexico, only in 5 specific regions, allocated regions, and inside of those regions, it's only 181 municipalities, small places, small cities that you can make tequila inside. Now, if you make tequila anywhere else in Mexico, using the same spirit, using the same agave, using the same process, but it's not in that region, you can call it tequila. You can call it mezcal or other name. Okay? Awesome. Now, you don't have to remember all the 5. If you want to see all the 5 regions, if you even want to see all the 181 emancipation, you should do the Patron Academia online program education. Okay, the next thing that they did, they also established a difference between 2 types of tequila. The first type is a minimum 51 Blue Weber agave tequila. Now, Blue Weber agave is the most perfect agave to use in order for tequila. And the regulation says that in order for you to write tequila on your bottle, in order to make your spirit called tequila, you're going to have to make it with Blue Weber agave, minimum of 51% of your sugar source. Okay, so minimum 51% have to be Blue Weber agave. The rest can be other grain, other sugar source, other agaves. Okay, so think about it. I'm making a cocktail. I can mix like a gin and tonic. So 51 of my glass has to be gin or Patron, yeah, or tequila, and the rest has to be something else. But as long as it's minimum 51% Blue Weber agave, you can call it tequila, but it will be a mixto tequila. Mixto in Spanish means mixed. Okay, so it's mixed, Blue Weber and other things. And the other type of tequila that also exists is the 100% pure Blue Weber agave. And that pure 100% Weber agave, just like in the name suggested, made only by using Blue Weber agave. Okay? Some of you must ask, why Blue Weber agave if there is over 100 different types of agaves? And the question and the answer is, is a little bit it's divided by 2. Basically, it's tradition. Okay, so this is the type of agave that was used for the beginning in the town of Tequila. And the secondly, it just tastes the best for making of tequila. So tradition and flavor. Okay, that's why Blue Weber agave, basically. Okay, so that pure Weber agave, 100% Blue Weber agave, this is what the Mexicans love to drink. This is what everybody wants to drink. This is the high quality, the more traditional, the more considered the more premium, the better type of tequila if I compare it to the mixto. Now, here's the thing. Mexicans love their tequila, love their agave, and they wanted to save the 100% pure agave inside of the borders of Mexico. And the first tequila that was available outside of Mexico, especially in the US, was a mixto tequila. And I'm not saying anything about the quality, but the story says that if you drink those type of tequila, you usually end up having a rough night the next morning. And a lot of people that was around there has bad memories for tequila, and that was a problem. That was a problem for our Patron founders, because they knew what is 100% agave, and they wanted to bring 100% agave, a Mexican traditional high premium type of tequila outside of Mexico, and especially in the US when they live and they want to enjoy 100% pure agave tequila. So they decided to pack a small suitcase and go to Mexico to produce 1,000 bottles of Patron tequila for the first time ever. And they said, hey, I don't know, we don't know what's going on. Maybe the people don't want to drink the pure agave. Maybe they don't want to pay a little bit extra for a spirit that they can get for a little bit cheaper. So worst case scenario, let's do those 1,000 bottles, and worst case scenario, if the thing won't work, we will just give it away as Christmas present, right? Which is great. But yeah, things worked out pretty well, and Patron became popular. One of the reasons why Patron is so popular, and two Americans going to Mexico creating a tequila, they collaborated with, and until today, they met Francisco Alvarez. Francisco Alvarez is our master tequila, master blender, master of everything, master of tequila. He's been working for tequila and making tequila in his family for years and years, and had a lot of experience, and they did that all together. So there was a lot of tradition behind it. It's not just like, hey, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm going to make tequila. No, they chose and they collaborated with one of the most qualified people in there. And Patron, well, everybody knows Patron, from there started to skyrocket. And also changed the fact that, hey, all of a sudden, that's a premium 100% agave tequila outside of Mexico, and it opened up the market for other brands, for us to have variety. In 1994, when tequila is very, very popular, the Mexican government decided to establish a regulator to oversee the tequila making process, to make sure that everybody that actually makes tequila makes it by the standards, makes it by the according rules. One of the things that they created a num number. A num number, it's a small, usually on the bottle, it can be anywhere on, I don't know if you can see, it's, okay. So it's a small num number, and this is a seal of approval, okay? So the regularly goes to distilleries around Mexico and make sure that they are up to the standard of tequila making. And once they are up to the standard of tequila making, they give it the num number, they give it the seal of approval. And yeah, and the interesting thing that in Mexico there is 1,700 different tequila distilleries. Okay, that some of them make different brands or a few brands, yeah. And out of those 1,700 distilleries, there is only 140 that actually approved by the regulator and have the num number and have the seal of approval. Now, our num number for Patron is 1492. If you like to check all the num numbers, you can go to the website, knowyournum.com, and check it out. The thing is also, you probably ask, well, Vita, how does this help me? Your bartender or just the tequila enthusiast or somebody that wants to try. So I tell you how it helps you that knowing the num number. When you go to a new bar, when you go to a liquor store and you want to buy tequila, hopefully someday it will be in Mexico, and you have a huge variety and you don't know the brands. First of all, well, always go for but secondly, you just need to look for the num number. You look for the num number, and then you at least know that it's approved, that it's actually tequila, and that's it. Now, num number doesn't not mean anything by the flavor. It won't mean that you're going to like it. It just means that it's actually a tequila. Okay, so If you have any questions, please write down it now. It was a very medium tequila history and a little bit understanding about what is tequila. And I will give you a few minutes to ask questions if you have, and I'm going to brief what we saw. So in order to make tequila, you're going to have to apply the appellation of origin, only making tequila in 5 regions, in 181 emancipation inside. You're gonna have to use Blue Weber agave, minimum of 51% in order to make tequila. And in that case, you're going to have a mixed up tequila 51% and up. And in case you have a tequila that uses 100% of the beautiful Blue Weber agave, then you can call it pure 100% tequila. That's it. Questions? Yeah. Cool. We're gonna go on. We talked about the appellation of origin. In Mexico, there is 5 regions. As I told you, you don't have to remember all the 5. I do want you to remember just one, and it's Jalisco. This is all Jalisco, or Jalisco, yeah, Jalisco. And I hope I pronounce it right. I say it with some confidence, but I'm not a Spanish speaker yet. But Jalisco. And this is actually the biggest region and where majority of this tequila distillation will be. And this is also where Patron is. And we chose this location for a few reasons. First of all, we are located at Los Altos, or the highlands of Jalisco. And there are 3 reasons why we chose it. First reason, because of our farmers. In Patron, we chose not to grow our own agaves, but work with farmers that have been farming Blue Weber agave for hundreds and hundreds of years. So because this area is close to where they grow their agaves. And specifically that region, because of the specific soil that is in that area. That soil is a red soil, red dirt, filled with iron and minerals that gives the agave a lot of unique flavors, like citrus, floral, and a little bit of the peppery notes. And just like wine, the terroir, the earth, the water, the alkaline, the people, okay, is going to affect the final taste of the agave, and of course affect by that the final taste of the tequila. The third reason is because the Hacienda, I hope you can see, I'm gonna move, the Hacienda Patron, the house of Patron, okay, is located just underneath a water source, a natural water aquifer, with the pure water, the most perfect water for us to mix, for Patron to mix with and to use in the tequila process. So those 3 reasons is why the Hacienda is located at where it's located. And when Patron just started, they had 32 employees, and from now until today, we have about 1,600 employees that work, and some of them even live in the Hacienda Patron. Now, Hacienda is going to be a Spanish class as well. Hacienda in Spanish means a group of houses or a big house that belong to one boss. So Hacienda means a group of houses that belong to one boss. And boss in Spanish is Patron. So for us, it was natural to name the distillation as a Hacienda because it has one boss. I can take you for a short tour. Of course, we have the distillation stills and the distillery house. We have some liquid house when we have our secret yeast there. Sustainability husk when we recycle and reuse everything that we produce basically. There is gardens over there, there is buses, and there is chapel, and there is even gardens when you can have a picnic and drink some tequila and smoke some cigars if that's your thing. Yeah, there is even an on-premise doctor that his number one thing is taking care of prematernal and giving prematernal advice. Yeah, it's common. Everybody knows once you drink some tequila, automatically you're going to have some babies as well. Okay, we're going to want to make babies at least. There is also the Hacienda Patron. It's a small little house, a few minutes walk away from the Hacienda. Over there we create only one type of tequila, a very unique type of tequila that I'm going to mention a little bit later. And this is how the distillery looked in 2003. In 2002, up to 2002, up to 2003, basically we had one set of two equipment in order to distill Patron. We had over here the small squares are ovens, brick ovens. Here you have two different types of crushers to crush the agave. Here you have two different types of fermentation tanks and two different types of distillation stills. And the beautiful thing about Patron that they always was intended to make a small batch traditional tequila. And in 2005, when the demand exceeded the amount of tequila that they could produce, when they needed basically more Patron, they decided to stick to their beliefs, to stick to the want of creating a small batch artisanal tequila, and instead of buying a bigger equipment, more high-tech equipment, they just duplicated and replicated and bought the same small batch, very tiny equipment in order to keep producing Patron, but in the same way, in the same traditional small batch way, but with higher volume. So, as you see, they added in 2005 two more sets. In 2006, another set. And 2007, I think two more sets, yeah? And if I'm not mistaken, 2018 they did it again. So that's great. I can personally really appreciate that. I can appreciate to stick with your I believe, to stick with your vision to your brand, no matter even if it costs a little bit extra. And yeah. Let's talk about it. This is how we make Patron. I'm going to run through it. I'm going to get into a little bit more details later. So for Patron, we use a very traditional method, and we divide it actually by two. Okay, it all starts with what? Sorry, something happened. I don't know what. My TV gun is not responding. Reply. Okay, let's see. Oh, electricity. I don't know. Opa, yay! Success! My TV is back on. And we were having so much fun until now. Okay, awesome. Where you were? Higher. Up. Sorry for that, but you know, good that you're at home and you feel comfortable. Cool. Okay, so as I told you, in Patron, this is how we do it, and I'm going to do. And in Patron, we divided the process by 2. So it all starts with agave. Okay, this agave gets cut down by the himadors. They do it all in hand with a whole lot of skills. Yeah, and after they cut it down, we bake it. Patron bakes it only in a small brick oven, and after it's baked and ready to be crushed, it gets crushed by 2 types or different types of methods. So the first method will be tahuna mill process. This is a very traditional process where you have a 2-ton stone crushing the fiber and the juices of the agave, and after it crushed everything, you take the juice and the fiber, put it in the fermentation tank, and after fermentation tank, they get distilled in a slightly thinner, slightly taller distillation distilleries, pots, there. And because we use in this process the fiber and the juice as well, the final flavor, the final product that you're going to get will be much more agave forward. It will be much more earthy, much more green. Okay, it's going to have more sweet flavors. It's going to be much more robust and strong. And the other type of process, and they get pretty much simultaneously, right? The other type is the roller mill crusher, and actually what it does, it separates between the juice and the fiber, and we take only the juice. It gets fermented, okay? Again, only gets fermented, only the juice, and then get distilled in a slightly shorter, slightly fatter, I shouldn't call it fat, but slightly bigger, fuller, no, slightly fatter distillation pot, distillation still. And then for Patron Silver, it goes straight into a bottle. Okay, later on, we have the Reposado, the Añejo, and some additional Patrons that get aged, get put into a cask, get maturate in some wood, and have a different flavors. But we do this process, we divide it by 2, because we want to, first of all, control the final product, and secondly, to give a more delicate, to give a balanced type of tequila for Patron. So it all starts with our farmers. Our family farmers has 100 years of contract with us, making sure that we're going to have agaves. Now, agaves is actually really, really hard to grow. You have to wait until agave is between 5 to 7 years old until it reaches the maturity, and you need to cut it in the right time, just before it develops a flower. Yes, this is a flower. I know it looks like more like a tree, but this is agave flower. It grows, you know, sometimes over 6 meters long, and because it's so big, the flower, agave needs a lot of sugar to grow it. And our farmers, yeah, grow this agave for about 5 to 7 years. When it's in the high peak of sugar, when it's just about to grow this huge flower, this is also the time when it needs to be cut down by the himadors and use the piña, only the heart. It's called a piña because it resembles a pineapple, and it has a lot of sugar to create this type of to create tequila. And yeah, also an interesting part that tequila is actually really, really hard to grow. It doesn't have seeds that you can plant and it will just grow, you know, like rice or corn or wheat or barley. It's actually, we depend majority of the time, we depend or on science or on bees. Okay, a frequent question that I ask, why Patron has this amazing, this beautiful bee as a logo, and the reason being is because, well, agave depends on bees to pollinate, to naturally pollinate the agaves, yeah, and create little baby agaves in order to maintain our tequila process, or maintain the agaves. Our humidors is required to cut the agaves a little bit closer to the heart, to the piña, in order to not give any green, any bitter flavors. Then it gets chopped into halves or quarters and get hand checked and then hand put in the brick oven, tiny little brick ovens. It gets cooked for about 78 hours, which is a bit longer than the average, and the reason is to extract a little bit more of the bitter flavors that you have in the beginning of cooking agaves. By the way, if you're interested, I might tell you one time about the time that I had to take an agave plant. Let me know. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, so sorry, I got off track. I just, it was a nice story. So after it gets cut down, it gets separated by, cooked, it gets separated by two processes. The uña mill, as you see, it's a huge stone that rotates, and then people turn all the fiber and the juice to let it squeeze everything and take all the fiber and all the juice into the next process. And in the roller mill, as you see, it gets separated between the juice and the fiber, producing the final product being juice, only being more fresh, more like of liquid. It gets fermented in two different types of fermentation tanks. Our tanks made only by pine wood, and this pine wood requires a lot of maintenance, and it needs to be cleaned after every time of use. It needs to be replaced every 4 years. And if I compare it to the, if I compare it to the metal tanks, to that basically needs to be cleaned, and that automatically clean, and that's it. So it's a lot of extra hand work in order to create Patron, only for the reason for being traditional and delicious, right? So, what do you say? Fiber and juice only gets fermented. We don't have mixto, we use only 100% agave tequilas. So you probably can hear, but this is a fermentation still. We put our fermented spirit inside of the still, of the pot. It gets boiled up to 78 degrees. After boiling up to 78 degrees, only the alcohol is going to vaporize. After it gets vaporized, get condensed and chilled, cooled down. After vapors get cooled down, they turn back into liquid. And this time, from the fermented spirit that was about 10% alcohol, it will become double the amount, at least double the amount of alcohol. And then this process usually going to be repeated twice in order to reach a higher percentage of alcohol, of ABV. Alcohol by volume, okay? For Patron we use two different types of stills, and those stills are smaller than the usual. When we say small batch, we mean small batch. Instead of average of 700 liters, we use 500 liters for the still that are used for the forced uña process. And the second still, instead of using 2,500 liters, we use only 1,500 liters. They are tiny. They're super small. And the size of the still, the shape of the still, the type of the still, if there is dents on the still, everything will matter for the final product, for the flavor of the tequila. We don't have any continuing still. Okay. After distilling the two different ways, they get blended together by Francisco Alvarez, by our master tequila, and he just blends and makes sure, tastes it, smells, and make sure that the flavor that you get is consistent for every bottle of Patron. Very cool thing that not only all the processes are handmade, but also even the bottling, it's all hand checked. Every employee has to check the bottle, the quality of tequila. The corks are imported from Portugal, which is known by the highest quality of the cork, so it won't, get bad with the time. All the stickers, everything, all the labels are handmade, and every bottle get hand signed to make sure the highest quality of tequila. We like to say that 60 hands touch the Patron bottle before you got it, but well, that's a lot more than 60 hands. But it's all handmade. You can, I don't know, maybe I'm a little bit too close to that brand, to this brand right now. Maybe I just like Patron a little bit too much right now, but you can feel it. You can feel the fact that people actually cared about making Patron. But yeah, that's me. Of course, they pay my salary. I love working for Bacardi and Patron, so I might be a little biased. But if you ever tasted Patron, I'm sure that you can identify it as well. Oh my God, speaking too much. Okay, so next step. After we have the silver Patron, we want to age the tequila. Aging will give an extra layer for the flavor of tequila. And at Patron, we age it in 5 different types of wood. We age it in a French wood. We age it in two different types of French wood. We use it in a Hungarian wood. We have a hybrid between American and a French wood, and we also have a used bourbon casks. And every different type of wood, every different type of oak, every different type of cask will give a different flavor, and that's why we use 5. Okay, and I'm sure also Francisco have very fun to playing around with a lot of different casks of different casks with Patron. We even with Dewar's have a new amazing illegal whiskey that aged or finished with tequila Patron cask. So that's interesting, and I'm sure that it's really, really fun. But by the end of the day, every different wood will give different flavor. Now let's talk about our product, and not only we're going to talk about what type of tequila there is there also. So the first type of tequila, and just like in cognac we have letters VS, VSOP, XO. In whiskey we have numbers that give us the age of the aging process, 10, 4, minimum 3. In tequila we have names as well. Okay, so the first thing is silver or blanco, white see-through, which means that tequila needs to be aged maximum of 3 months, up to 3 months. For Patron, we age it 0. We don't age it at all. We don't age it because in all of Patron tequilas, we want you to taste the agave. We want you to taste the process. We want you to taste the really high quality of the agave that we make Patron with. So it's unaged at all, but you can age it up to 3 months if you like. The second type will be, the repestado. Repestado tequila in Spanish means it's resting, so it'll be resting for between 3 months and maximum 1 year. Okay, maximum 1 year. Then it's resting. Then it's a repestado tequila. For Patron, we age it between 3 to 5 months. Again, only the minimum in order to able taste the actual agave and create a very gentle, very nice flavor, very elegant flavor of tequila. The next one will be añejo. Añejo in Spanish means old. And in order to call your tequila old, you have to age it between 1 year to 3 years, and then you can call it old. Yeah, you can call it old. For Patron, we again age them in between 12 to 15 months. That's it. If you have a tequila that is older than 3 years, it will call extra añejo tequila. Okay, extra old tequila. So this was the core range. You have the silver, reposado, añejo. They're all a mix of the tahuña and roller mill process. And here you have the Rocco Patron. The Rocco Patron is a unique tequila. Rocco Patron was created for the professionals. It was created for the one that loves tequila, that loves the flavor of agave. Because Rocco Patron made with 100% blue agave, made in a tahuña method. So everything that is in this tequila is made by fiber and juice and has a very strong agave flavors. If you like your tequila, I strongly recommend you to try this. This is the second step of enjoying agave-based spirits, enjoying tequila. They also have the Grand Patron. The Grand Patron is, again, very unique, completely also different from the Rocco because it is based on Silver Patron, which means it's a blend. Not only that, it distilled 3 times. Now, once we distill one more time, the more we distill, the more soft, the more clear, the more gentle that tequila will be. So it gets distilled 3 times. The Grand Patron gets rested for about 30 days, 60 days, if I'm not mistaken, I forget right now. But we had the Grand Patron Barbados, which is that is very unique. It gets aged for 2 years and then distilled again, and after that get aged again in Bordeaux wine casks, which is amazing. Wine barrel actually. And then you have the Grand Patron Paradis that is an extra old añejo tequila, which I can tell you it's about 7 years, maybe minimum. I won't tell you. And and it's one of the most beautiful bottles. It's also, of course, expensive. It's all about the design and also the amazing tequila that it's inside. We have our ultra premium tequila Patron based liquors. The most famous is the Patron Cafe, but the one that I love to use is the Patron Citron, the Patron Orange, that gives you a perfect margarita mix, a perfect margarita blend, and even delicious just adding tonic to it and a little bit of lime. In Vietnam we have available the cafe, the orange. We also have available the mango, and the pineapple. There is a lime flavor as well. If you have it in your market, lucky you. There is a few limited edition Patrons, so check out if you have the chance to see it. This is my favorite special edition. This is a special edition by Guillermo del Toro that created the collaboration with Patron, created this beautiful, unique bottle in his style. This bottle actually tells a story. Even the head has an orange liqueur inside. There's only one bar in Vietnam that has the one restaurant, District Federal in D2, in District 2. That's it. Also sustainability. So we encourage bartenders to think about the planet, to think about the community, to create more sustainable drinks, sustainable cocktails, as we create sustainable tequila as well. One of the amazing things that Patron does, they do a lot. But one of the most amazing things that they do, that they take all the leftovers and all the residue, that left from tequila process, and recycle it and give it back to the farmers to use it for the use it to use it. Not only they take everything that get left in for Patron making, they also use and take and gather from 10 different from the 10 different places around them, and help and recycle and help the sustainability of whole of Mexico, which is amazing. They also take care of their community by having a few, more than 6 I think right now, charity events, charity organizations that they help and support. And again, we encourage you to do that as well if you can, contribute. I think that's it. Let's see if there's any questions. Cool. So I don't see any questions right now. If you have any, please, ask away. If you want to get this certificate, if you want to do the Patron Academia, send me a private message and I will hook you up. That's it. Until next time, until next week, we're going to make Patron cocktails. See ya.